Vipassana! 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 This is for my fellow hunters!
Hi guys, this is Tabiasobi, and today I'll be sharing my quick thoughts on some key changes I've observed for Monster Hunter Rise based on the demo for the game. Yeah, so I've actually been playing the demo early after receiving an early access copy of it since I cover Tekken gaming for my newspaper, and I've noticed some interesting things so far. With the news embargo lifting today, I can finally share my preliminary thoughts about what I've seen. Note once again that this is an early access copy of the game, so things might still change once the final release comes out. Now let's go. First off, of course, is the new Wirebug. This feature has been teased a lot following the announcement of the game, and I've now had a chance to personally try it out, so here are my thoughts and observations. So in case you're not familiar with it, the Wirebug is a new feature in Monster Hunter Rise that allows you to vault into the air and also perform new arts called Silkbind moves. It basically adds extra verticality as well as mobility in the game, alongside some special attacks and buffs that help you out during the hunt. You'll start out with 2 stocks of the Wirebug, but can temporarily increase it to 3 by picking up a 3rd stock on the field. The 3rd stock disappears after some time, however, so you will need to find more Wirebugs to refill it. Do note that the first 2 stocks do not disappear. Cooldown is also pretty generous, and I found the refill rate after using a stock to be relatively quick. This means that downtime is quite minimal when using the aerial or ground wire dash moves, as well as the Silkbind moves that only use 1 stock. Each stock also independently regenerates, so you don't have to wait for the first stock to replenish before the second one starts regenerating, which is helpful when doing 2 stock moves or using a 1 stock move consecutively. You still can't spam it willy-nilly, but you can repeat 1 stock moves rather quickly, like when vaulting upwards for example. Another change that's been teased pretty heavily is your new Palamute K9 companion. It's basically an Iceborne Raider Ride except on steroids. So using your Palamute is quite easy once you take your K9 into the field with you. Just press and hold the A button, and your good boy will move to your side and automatically let you mount. You can also use the Let Me Ride icon on your action bar, but I found just pressing and holding A to be much easier. Now, unlike Raider Ride mounts, you have free control of your Palamute when riding. Holding the R bumper while moving lets you dash, while pressing ZR lets you jump. By the way, ZR is the right trigger versus R, which is the right bumper. And then pressing ZL, or the left trigger, on the other hand, lets you drift Ridge Racer style. Easy left, baby! Oh wait, wrong game. Now pressing X while mounted will let your dog attack, while pressing B lets you dismount. I especially like doing a jumping dismount, which allows you to open up a monster encounter with an aerial attack. You can also pick up field items and drink potions, eat well-done steaks, or sharpen while mounted, so it's great for multitasking. Up next is Wyvern Riding. This is a major change to the series' traditional mounting mechanic and allows you to literally ride a monster while using threads from your Wirebug as reins. It can be triggered by using aerial attacks and Silkbind moves, as well as a special bug that you can find on the field known as a puppet spider. Once mounted, you can wall slam a monster multiple times to inflict some nice damage, or use the monster to attack other foes and build up a special gauge for pulling off a mounted Punisher attack. I actually did a whole video on how to Wyvern Ride, so feel free to check that out for a more in-depth look. Now, while getting your first mount in past games is pretty easy, getting your first Wyvern Ride when facing a monster definitely takes longer based on the demo. Like in the old games, you do a few aerial attacks and your first mount comes pretty quickly. That was not the case while I was playing this demo. Now, I'm not sure if they did this to prevent mount spamming, but it certainly takes more effort to get a monster to a mountable state, at least manually. If you do get a puppet spider, which is the quickest way to trigger a mountable state, I'd recommend using that after you get your first mount manually, so you can get a second Wyvern Ride easily. I actually don't know if using a puppet spider affects mounting tolerance, which is another reason I recommend saving it for a second mount. Next up, we've got health and stamina increases. So if you look at the UI at the top, you can see your current HP and stamina cap, as well as a max level that goes beyond that. Now in the past games, you could chug a max potion to fill your HP up to the max, or eat multiple rations and well-done steaks to max out your stamina. Anyway, those are just some examples of the items you could use. But while I was playing the demo, I noticed that using those items did not take my HP or stamina up to the max level. Instead, they just took it up to the existing cap, which was below the max level. So what I had to do was to actually collect special bugs in the field in order to gradually raise that cap. These are the new bugs, by the way, that can raise various stats, such as attack, defense, etc., depending on the type that you collect. Now, I'm not sure if this will carry on to the regular game, or if they plan to add items to let you hit max levels a lot easier, or kind of like in the past games, but it's a pretty big change if this does stay the way it is. I also couldn't bring up the hunter status info in the demo, so I'm not sure how base and max HP levels compare to past games. Anyway, I couldn't check that out because the hunter status was not clickable or displayable in the demo. At least I haven't figured out a way to do it because it was grayed out. Anyway, if you need to hunt bugs to get your HP and stamina levels maxed out to what they were in past games, this could be a polarizing change for veteran hunters who just want to max those two things right away, at least with items, so they can just, quickly go hunting. Up next is something that veterans of Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate will recognize, especially folks who use bowguns. So as someone who first started playing the series as a bowgun main, light bowgun and heavy bowgun were two of the first weapons I checked out right away, in addition to Insect Glaive and Greatsword. Now, while I didn't notice anything different when looking at the ammo loadouts, I got a little surprised while checking out the game's crafting list. That's where I saw an option to craft shrapnel ammo and elemental pierce ammo, which veteran hunters will remember as two of the internal ammo options for bowguns in Generations. At least that's what I remember. It's been a while. Anyway, in that game, shrapnel kind of acted like spread ammo that can be fired from longer distances at the expense of having lower motion values for damage. I think that's right. Like I said, it's been a while. And then elemental pierce, meanwhile, were elemental shots that also added a pierce effect, as the name implies. Now, while elemental shots kind of had a piercing effect in Iceborne, that used to be a separate option in Generations, and it looks like Rise has regular elemental, and then pierce elemental ammo categorized separately once again. Now, I'm not sure if the effect will be the same in Rise as it was in Generations, but I'm certainly interested to see how these shots pan out. Also, I didn't see an option for dazzling ammo, or any other special shots from Generations, so it remains to be seen if any other ammo will make a return. Speaking of bowguns, one of the new features that producer Ryozo Tsujimoto and director Yasunori Chinose shared during my exclusive interview with them last year, which you can still see in this channel, or on rgj.com, was the addition of gyro, or motion control aiming, for Monster Hunter Rise, which was a question I specifically asked them at that time, to which they said yes. Anyway, I've had a chance to try it out, and it works pretty well. Basically, you can enable gyro aiming by bringing up the main menu, going to Options, then Gyroscope. And then you turn on gyro functionality, and you will have the option to enable gyro aiming. Now, turning on the normal gyro controls will actually map regular camera movement to the motion controls, so I recommend keeping that off unless you like to throw up like a frat pledge during rush week. I mean, you're going to be super dizzy, unless you have steady hands. Instead, you should turn on aiming gyro controls, which will limit motion controls to the times when you hold the left trigger to aim. By the way, gyro controls work not just for the bowguns, but also for aiming your Kinsect. Anyway, there you go, a preview of 6 key features from Monster Hunter Rise. I'm sure we'll have more new stuff in the game in the future, but I just wanted to get these out as people start playing the demo. So which feature are you looking forward to the most, and what are some features that you also wish to be added to the game? As always, please feel free to leave any thoughts or questions you may have in the comment section. Once again, this is Tabi Asobi, and thank you for watching.
Nerura!